From rice salads and pasta pesto to biscuits for breakfast, this is what we made for our weekly plant-based meal prep.
Hey everybody, welcome to the High Path channel. Today is meal prep day, so we're going to turn all these ingredients into all this meal prep. Let's get in the kitchen and let's get started with our meal prep day. Let's go. Hope you guys are having a great summer so far. It's been pretty hot here in Nevada. Right now we are kind of planning some really easy, simple, light meals for lunches and dinners today. Snacking on some chickpeas, which I have burnt a little bit. I didn't put enough water, so yeah. Fun fact, one of our stovetops are broken, so we are down one stovetop, which is one of our main ones. So right now we are just using just the one main big one on the right, and we have two in the back for some other little things. So today we're going to start off with some chopping. We have some rice already going. It's actually steaming right now. We have some cashews in the background boiling for some sauces and things. We have some lentils already made. And actually, Mercy, do you want to go to the garden? Let's just get some herbs for our pesto. Let's go. So our garden is out here in the back. Right here, we have a big plot right here, which we started a few things. Now, some things are sprouting up. There are quite a few things that are like not really coming up, and we are pretty late in the season, but we're still hopeful. So we're gonna get some mint, and we're gonna get some oregano and some thyme, I think.
If you don't know already, mint is actually a very wild, sort of weedy type of plant, and it will spread. So that's why we haven't planted it yet. We need to put that in a pot. We also are going to be harvesting some fresh thyme and some oregano for our pesto today. We've planted some basil, but that hasn't quite come up yet. We're planning to replant some of these herbs and get some more chard and greens going as well.
Alrighty, we just got all of our herbs, and it's time to go back in. So today, Mercy and I came up with a few things that we wanted to make for meal prep today. And so this is just what we're going to go through and prep. We have, for the herbs, we're going to make a very quick herb pesto. We're going to add some nuts. We're going to put some oil. Maybe we'll do like a lemony pesto. That sounds really nice and summery. And then we also have, so in here we've got some herbs. We're also going to add some salt. We have some parsley over here as well. So let me just chop that. It's a hefty handful of parsley here. I think we should all right, we're gonna try it out. So I put a whole bunch of parsley.
We're starting off with some rigatoni pasta for our pesto. I found that rigatoni is one of my newest favorite pasta shapes. Just because of the texture, it's just so good for some reason. So let's make this really quick pesto. We have some cashews going in here with our parsley, our fresh herbs. We have some lemons. We're also going to add some nutritional yeast just for some added cheesiness and umami-ness. We're going to season it with some onion powder and some salt. And we chopped up maybe like a couple cloves of garlic. Added a little bit of olive oil and a little bit of water just to thin it out a little bit and give it a quick blitz. Lemon is not a very traditional pesto ingredient, but I found that in summertime it really brightens up everything It cuts down that oiliness and it's just so good in everything, literally. In our rigatoni pot, I'm adding some extra vegetables. So I've got some frozen broccoli and frozen peas. We always stock up on this, and I found that I always have a bag of frozen peas or broccoli because you never know when you're going to need something green and something really quick. The frozen broccoli is already chopped up, so it's so nice and convenient. I've noticed that the pot was a little too crowded and I couldn't add as much vegetables as I wanted. So we're going to ladle out some of the rigatoni pasta just so that we can add some extra vegetables. Then sauce it and still have enough room to mix it all up together. Let us know in the comments if you love to stock up on frozen vegetables or are you a canner? I know some of you guys love to can and you guys are pros at it. So just let us know in the comments what you like to do best. This parsley pesto is so vibrant. Obviously, it is not the traditional way of making pesto, but I really feel like pesto could be made with any herbs, any type of nut, and with some garlic and olive oil, you're good to go. Do you agree or disagree? Let us know in the comments as well. Now that the pesto pasta is done, I am going to start chopping up the rest of our vegetables for some soups and some curries.
Right now it's about lunchtime, so we are getting ready to have some of that pesto pasta for lunch because the kids are hungry. So we had half of it reserved for our prep. And then now I'm going to work on a chickpea curry and our lentil soup. They're both going to go into the back burner to cook for a while. So I've got some peppers. We're going to use some carrots here, celery. We've got some onions. I'm just chopping up these vegetables really quick just so we can get them into the pots and cooked as soon as possible. Seriously, whenever we cook or meal prep, cutting probably takes the longest time. All the chopping up of the vegetables and the, peeling zucchinis and things like that. So sometimes we do try to get it chopped all at once. Sometimes we just kind of go with the flow. Let us know in the comments if you are a go with the flow type of meal prepper, or do you just kind of want everything chopped and ready to go and just assemble at the end? I would love to know. Now today we are doing sort of a very easy, simple dump and go type of meal prep because typically, it's good to saute down your vegetables, but I think I'm just going to dump all these ingredients in and just kind of let it simmer and do its thing. If you have a slow cooker, I think this would be a good idea to prep. You could just prep it in a container and put all these ingredients into your pot to cook all day before work, and you come home to a delicious soup or stew, whatever it is. Now I know at this point it seems like there's a ton of stuff going on, which really there is, but I just have a lot of vegetables that are just out and a lot of ingredients that are just out, which we're going to be using very, very soon. So I'm also, while I'm making all of our soups, I'm going to get started with a rice salad. Now I've never really made a rice salad before, but I figured I'd give it a shot. Since it's hot, I'm trying to think of salady things and just some really, really light things. So I've got some zucchinis in here. We're gonna add some chickpeas and some rice and some balsamic vinegar. I think it's gonna be really good. My chickpeas going in. And maybe some celery.
I'm choosing some really nice crisp vegetables, so raw zucchini, some celery, some red onions, and then we're just going to dump in our freshly cooked warm rice.
So this is not the first time that I've had balsamic vinegar, but buying it is kind of weird because I've never bought it before. It's so interesting. So I'm going to put some mustard and some balsamic vinegar together with that garlic for that extra tang. I got some olive oil going in, and I gotta salt it. All right, we're going to give it a swirl. It smells really good. It's just so weird. I think it needs more. I'm gonna use up the rest of my olive oil. I don't have much, but I guess we're just gonna pour it in.
At this point, it smelled so good, actually. We're going to add some greenery to this. I figured I may as well just use our leftover peas that I had from the pesto. And then we're also going to add a little bit of green onions chopped as well.
Israel, try this. It's actually really good. Not bad, huh? It's pretty good.
The frozen peas hurt.
Oh, sorry. That'll defrost later. Cool. Pasta, I know. Rice salad is done. All right, Israel, can you help me find something for that?
Checking up on our soup and our curry in the background, we have our curry on the top right hand corner here. I'm going to add a little bit of lentils, and in the front we're going to have a squash soup. I'm trying to cut down time by multitasking, making two things at once or as much as I can at once, just so that way we're using our time efficiently. Our squash soup is going to get some cabbage. Now this is going to add some sweetness and a little bit of that extra texture of the cabbage. In our curry, we're seasoning it up with some cumin, some coriander. We can do some ginger powder, black mustard seed, and some garam masala. Then we're going to add 2 cans of diced tomatoes in our curry. We want it to be nice and tangy, but also creamy at the same time. All I had was this light coconut milk, but that's okay. It still added some delicious body and creaminess to the curry. Another thing on the side that I was working on is our weekly chili oil. Our family has been in love with this stuff. We put it on literally everything. It's just so good and so nice to have on hand. Basically, chop up some onions, garlic, ginger. You heat up some oil and you pour it over some chili flakes as well. Moving along, we are going to zest some lemons for some baked goods.
We are switching our mode a little bit to baking. So we're going to do a lemon and blueberry loaf. And then I'm going to work on some biscuits. Israel, put this back in the freezer. We need cold butter or coconut oil. Put it in there. Well, we're going to wait until that coconut oil kind of hardens a little bit. Yes. And then I'm going to work on some cookies. We're going to make some chocolate chip cookies.
In a mixing bowl, we added some coconut oil, some coconut sugar, and then the flax eggs that we're going to use. This is generally the base ingredients for all of our baked goods, but it kind of varies and the amounts change if we're making, say, a cookie versus a cake. So we added some flour, we added some baking soda for our cookie batter.
We had to put our chocolate chips in the fridge because it's just been so hot and we don't want it to melt. Now to bake our cookies, we're using, to bake our cookies, instead of parchment, I have a silpat. I had this since forever. This is made in France. It is so good. Let me know in the comments if you have a silpat. But yeah, we haven't used this in a while. I just find it a little bit hard to clean after and then like having to dry it, but I'm gonna try to use it more from now on. So let's see. This is basically done. Let's just do one cookie and we're going to test it really quick, okay? All of that. So just do one. A little bit bigger. Yeah.
One in the middle.
Working on the lemon loaf. I'm gonna put some apple cider vinegar, maybe about 2 tablespoons worth. We have lemon juice that's coming in as well.
As I was saying, I love citrusy things in the summertime. It's so nice and citrusy and bright. So today we're going to be making a lemon and blueberry loaf. In this batter, we added the zest of 4 lemons, and we also added all the juice of the 4 lemons as well. We're going to add some baking soda in here, added the flour, and the baking soda with the apple cider vinegar and the citrusy lemon juice is going to help the dough or the loaf rise a little bit. We are adding some blueberries here. This is just some frozen blueberries. And then we're going to put them in a loaf pan. At this point, I noticed that the batter was way too thick. And so we're going to add a little bit of water. But first, let's check up on our test cookie. This one was a little poofy, but that's okay. We're going to continue on our cookie making. In our lemon and blueberry bread, we're adding about 1 cup of water just to thin out the batter a little bit. We're going to pour them into some loaf pans that are already brushed with some coconut oil, and then we're going to stick it in the oven at 350-375 for about 45 minutes to an hour or so. The cookies are next, so I'm helping Mercy spoon some cookie dough onto our silpat, and we're going to bake these at 350 for about 8-9 minutes or so. Once they're done baking, we let it cool on the cookie sheet for about 5-10 minutes or so, and then we're going to move them onto a cooling rack to cool completely.
Last but not least, we are making a cheesy, savory biscuit dough.
And a
No?
no. Oh well, yeah. But
Are we doing a savory one?
And the jam one. Strawberry jam one.
I think we're gonna put the strawberry jam on top for breakfast. How about that?
And inside.
No, because it's not gonna be good. It has to just be plain, and then you put the thing on.
Okay.
Okay.
So plain one and a
Okay. Okay, we're not really going to be measuring, but I do have a written recipe for our biscuits. So I'm just going to kind of dump it in a little bit. So we're gonna do some salt.
salt.
We're gonna do some salt. This is just gonna be the plain one, huh? No. Yeah, more. We're going to do 2 different versions. So we have a salty one here, and then we're going to do a sweet one here. So for the salty one, let's put about a half a maybe like 3/4 of a cup of nutritional yeast.
In our savory biscuit, we're also going to add some onion powder here and some oregano, or if you have some Italian seasoning, that would work too. We are going to then add some solidified coconut oil. It wasn't fully solidified for ours, but that's okay. We're still going to be able to use it. So I just had the girls mix everything in, try to rub the coconut oil and the flour together to make sort of a wet sand consistency. Then we're adding some ice cold water in each of these bowls as well. That ice coldness will definitely help the biscuits sort of make it poofy and nice and flaky. And for some richness, we're adding some coconut milk into each of these bowls as well. You can see that as soon as the girls started mixing it, Mercy was a little concerned about her batter looking that way. It was definitely more wet than Grace's. We're going to address that in a little bit. I just had Grace dump her dough on a board. I had her just kind of put all of the crumbs together as best as possible. Make sure not to over mix it.
This is a perfect example of why recipes sometimes just don't always work the same. I measured everything out. We measured everything out exactly the same for each biscuit. But this one, it's kind of not, like the texture is nowhere near the other one. So now we're going to have to kind of add more flour and kind of try to fix this. So that's why it's just best to know the feel of things before following a recipe, because sometimes recipes just don't turn out just the same.
This is why I like to teach cooking by instinct, by feel, by the sight, and by taste, because you never know. The environment, the ingredients all act differently wherever you purchase it at, and it can definitely just behave differently in different recipes. Now that we added a little bit more flour into our dough for Mercy, we are now ready to go to punch out some biscuits and put them on our baking sheet. If you have a large biscuit cutter or biscuit puncher, go ahead and use that. We are just using what we have, which is just a cup, and it works perfectly. Looks like our lemon blueberry loaf is done. We're just going to stick a chopstick in, and if it comes out clean, it is done and perfect. We're going to bake our biscuits in a very hot oven at about 425, 450. Once it came out, I realized I think I may have put the biscuits in a little bit too long. But there you go. This is our spread for our weekly meal prep today.
Ta-da! Oops. Ta-da! So this is our meal prep for the week. Today we kind of did a few like randomy things, but put them together during the week, it'll help a lot. Like for example, we prepped a pot of rice, which we can use for fried rice. We could use it for our curries. We have a pot of soup. We have some chili oil, which we've been going through weekly. We have some lemon blueberry bread. We have some already just boiled cashews, which we can make really easy Alfredo sauces. We've got some butter. We've got some lentils that are already prepped, some biscuits, which I accidentally turned the oven a little too high. But other than that, it looks pretty good. We've got some cookies. We have a rice salad. We've got a rigatoni with pesto and just chopped vegetables that always come in handy as well.
Curry.
Yeah, and a curry. We really hope that we inspired you to make some really simple meals for meal prep. Let us know in the comments what you're making this week. Like and subscribe if you are new, and we will see you on the next video.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.